event. Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think you already know what it's time for. It's time for the Clout.WAV show. And no, it's not a show, it's a podcast. It's an experience, really, if we're being honest, because not only am I bringing you the best of myself, we're bringing you the best of my co-host over yonder, coming from across the pond. And by the pond, I mean, what, about 15-minute drive over a bridge, hop, skip, and a jump. We got Subtle Fraudulence. How you doing, man? It's been quite the week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been quite the week, we get to find out all kinds of crazy things happening in the world, and I mean, on top of that, you get to hear all your GOP members getting exposed for being crazy. So
All of them?
Soon time will come, as Twitter has told people.
All right. I mean, if we're using Twitter as a source, then we might have to pack it up, boys.
I'm glad you understand that. Like, some people don't know that. Some people are like, you got some people like your Ben Shapiro's and whatnot who are like, well, many people on Twitter say, and it's like, no.
Yeah, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If you start using Twitter as a source for anything, I'm muting the conversation. I'm out of there. I'm chucking up deuces because you are clearly on the Crackheaderian theorem right there, not the Pythagorean theorem, the Crackheaderian theorem, and I can't. You can't compete with that. I'm not talking to a brick wall while you trying to snort bricks out of a homeless man's ass. I'm not about to do it. That's not what I'm here to do. But what I am here to do is talk about what's your boy Steven Crowder doing? What's he doing? My man
He's
over here.
He's being funny, man. Haven't you heard of all the conservative programs that are funny now, like the Candace Owens show, Greg Gutenberg?
It's like we said last week. What we said last week, where he says he wants to hide behind the guise of being a comedian. But I'm trying to figure out what's supposed to be the humor behind trying to simulate having somebody's knee on your neck for 9 minutes. Because if you actually go and actually look at the video, and for those of you who don't know, basically he was trying to say, let's test if George Floyd really couldn't breathe. We're going to have this phony officer number one put his knee on my neck for 9 minutes, uncut, uninterrupted, and we will truly see if he really couldn't breathe. Which, bodies are different from person to person, but this felt like a good on-the-nose experiment to some. But as soon as you looked at the video, about a minute into that 9 minutes, the cop shifts his weight to where it's more on the center of his back as opposed to his neck. And most of his weight is shifted onto the cop's heels, which means probably had about, 50 to 60 pounds at most on his back. Not really a one-to-one experiment whatsoever.
And funny enough, the fake cop was doing what the real cop should have been doing in that situation if he was to resort to that technique. But that's neither here nor there, right?
Because the thing I'm trying to figure out is like was like 4 or 5 cops at the scene. It's just like, so y'all really just not gonna do anything like this. That shows a level of ineptitude that like law enforcement shouldn't have. Because I mean, y'all supposed to be trained for this. Y'all are supposed to be in the cut. Y'all are supposed to be ready for these type of situations.
Hey, man, he's trying to prove to us that the drugs killed him, not the, however pound man who was on his back and neck that whole time.
But at the same time, we've seen people who are on plenty of drugs, and somehow, some way, they know how to deal with those folks. They know how to get them on the ground, regardless of race. We've seen black people put on the ground and, not choke the fuck out while they're having their episodic episode of whatever drug they're on. We've seen white people who are on the craziest of methamphetamines, the highest caliber of uncut coal white. We've seen them on PCP even. And somehow, some way, cops across the globe, across America, are able to subdue these people and bring them in without incident. And I'm just trying to figure out how on this one, all of a sudden, having your knee on somebody's neck is what you thought was the proper protocol. When people have to fucking breathe. That's crazy to me.
Hey, man, Steven Crowder wanted to point out to everyone that it's funny, man. It's funny that this case is going on right now, and it's funny that people believe that, putting your knee on someone's neck would kill someone. Like, isn't that crazy? Also,
I just can't believe this is a conversation that needs to be had. Like, it's like, hello, guys. If someone puts their knee on your neck or, is causing this to have some sort of tension, whether it's on the front or, severely on the back while you're like having your shoulder blade like this while you're on the pavement face down, I don't understand how that's not something that would need to be explained to somebody, that it might inhibit your ability to breathe. That's the part that I don't get. Like how are people like, nah, man, you should be able to breathe just fine like that.
Well, the interesting thing about his attempt to recreate the situation is that one, there was no aggressiveness, there was no murderous intent from anyone involved, and he moved his head like so many times during that situation. It was just like, this is not even like comical at this point. It's not even like a recreation of whatever the heck you're trying to prove. You're just doing it wrong, because he's like talking to them and like moving his neck and stuff. He's just like, yeah, guys, was it more like this? Was it more like that? And the timer is still going, and I'm like, that doesn't go with what you're trying to prove. So I don't get what the point of this is. But hey, content is content. Also, what happened to that man getting banned?
Yeah, you see that. That's the other thing. It's like they were out here talking, hooting and hollering, and saying, we're going to get him out of here. He's going to be banned. He's going to lose his channel. Yet somehow, some way, as you guys can clearly see, he's still uploading. He's still getting his duckaroos and his bankaroos and his paychecks through the algorithm, and he's still getting the viewership. So, I mean, clearly,
YouTube didn't care.
YouTube did not follow through with any of the things that they said they were going to do so. But like at the same time, like, who's really shocked that YouTube didn't follow through on a thing they said they were going to do? Who's shocked by that? Come on, guys. Come on, show of hands. Who's shocked? Who thought YouTube was actually going to do anything that they actually said they would do? Because if you did, you're damn fools. Because YouTube... All right, go on.
Let me read the titles of his latest uploads that are showing up here on this YouTube channel. 2 weeks ago, Democrats want your guns. 7 shootings in 7 days, debunked. 2 weeks ago, streamed, Crowder takes over Biden's first press conference. I guess that's a joke. Streamed 1 week ago, Derek Chauvin trial, live stream, opening arguments. 2 days ago, apologize for what? Media Matters, cancel culture exposed. Okay. And then, of course, the video that we're talking about, Neon Neck, Crowder tests the theory live 1 day ago. 8 hours ago, though, gun control is here. Biden's agenda gets radical. Like, every time people say radical like that, it makes it seem like somebody's gonna pull up on a skateboard and be like, "Yeah, radical." Okay, but yeah, his channel didn't suffer shit. He was like,
look, here's the thing. I'm not here to argue saying that he should be canceled, right? That's a conversation that the rest of y'all can have with yourself. I'm just saying, like, when I see something that's stupid, I'm like, hey, bro, that's stupid. You're allowed to do that. People are saying that, oh, do you want him banned? Do you want you to do something? It's like, look, all I'm saying is we all knew at the end of the day that YouTube's words are just words. They do not follow through on action almost ever. There is so much shit that goes here on YouTube that's fucked up and is deranged and mind-boggling, and somehow, some way, for months, in some cases even years, people allowed to have these channels doing all the nonsense that they want. Like, look at how long that Daddy 0550 or 05 thing went when he was like out here abusing his kids on the camera. Look at how long that channel's tenure was after people had already started reporting it for months.
Right.
And YouTube was once again slow to the draw to do anything about it. So, like, let's not act like YouTube is like quick to clack the whip out here and actually get people the fuck out of here. It's not YouTube's ML. YouTube will take as long as they want, as long as the money is coming through. The only time that they really seem to step in is either A, when something is costing them money, or B, it's like a federal crime that needs to go away. Like, those are the only two times that they really come in here to actually do anything. But like, people following the guidelines, they'll only snipe you for that if you don't have a check mark by your name.
Right.
Like,
and
if you're someone who's like in the couple 100,000 subscribers or more category and in that upper echelon of YouTuber, they'll take care of you. Trust me, they even have a number that they can call. Like the special golden phone book, as they like to call it. Like, come on now. You already knew you knew the jig was up immediately.
Yeah, on top of that, Crowder like tried to make a big spectacle out of this whole thing. Like, YouTube was like really getting rid of them. I was surprised because so you have the conservative like narrative that the media is trying to lie to you and big tech is trying to cancel them, all this stuff. But like, you know, like Ben Shapiro has his own channel, Candace Owens has her own channel, Steven Crowder has his own channel. Those channels are fine. Like, getting into the right-wing algorithm space, there are tons of channels that all say a lot of these same things. And
I mean, hell, there's even a genre of rap music that's right-wing rap. Yes,
all right,
right-wing rap.
That is.
You didn't know that?
That sounds like trash, man.
No, they're I forget the name of the dude, but it's like gun-toting, like the chorus is like gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Like, they really out here.
It sounds like trash. But,
it's a black gentleman and a white rotund gentleman, and they're both out here throwing their best liners to own the libs as they speak.
Did you know that Steven Crowder has admitted to like left-wing people that he doesn't really like believe the shit that he says? He you know, it's all for a check.
Yeah, it's the Alex Jones effect. Like, here's the thing. I'm not saying that Crowder is a terrible human being behind the scenes. I'm just saying, when you put stuff out there in your 16:9 box over here on the internet, and it's something where it's like, wow, that's pretty stupid, and a person who would put something out like that should probably be ashamed of themselves. That's all I'm saying. I'm not over here saying that you should take his money. I'm not saying he should be forced to close down shop. I'm just saying the stuff I see over there, pretty fucking stupid.
Okay, let's talk about conservative comedy. Because, what is it? Greg, I think it's Greg Gutenberg or Greg Gutberg, something like that. He's a Fox News anchor who recently got his own show, and it premiered, and everyone is like shitting on this man because he's like trying to be funny, but it's very bad. You know, whatever. Literally, the opening like title screen like comes up, and then there's a segment where he's like giving shit to one of his co-anchors who's like a woman who I forget her name, right? And he's like, oh, it's way past your bedtime. And I'm like, I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. Why is it past her bedtime? Is it because she's a woman? Like, is it because you're older than her? Well, I don't get it, right?
When you tie your comedy to a certain leaning political demographic, you already lost. You already L to replay. You already screwed the pooch on that.
It's Greg Gutfield. Maybe he used this Garfield font on purpose, actually, because Gutfield and Garfield sound close enough. But she legitimately pointed out, she's like, you're one to talk. I mean, like, your opening title sequence literally looks like the Garfield font. Garfield is going to sue you, and that was the best joke said on that show. So you have that, and Candace Owens had her like. So Ben Shapiro's his network gave her a talk show, and she brought on. Do you remember when This Is America came out, and there was that viral video from the person who wanted to parody that video and make it about women?
Yeah.
That girl was on the Candace Owens show as like the resident like comedian person for them to make jokes about her beef with Cardi B, and there were no jokes.
Well, a lot of people can't make jokes these days because they just want to do things.
I mean, one dude made like a like kind of like misogynistic type of joke where he was like, how are you going to say that you have a wet ass pussy but your husband is cheating on you? But it's like, those don't really coincide.
Because you're talking about that Nicole Arbor chick, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, she is historically known for stepping in shit.
Yeah, but she's not even the one that said that. They got Brandon Tatum, who's like the resident like right wing dude who comes with the story of like, yo, I came from the streets, I was in gangs, I was a gangbanger, blah blah blah. Then I found Jesus, and now I'm on the straight and narrow path. All the gangbanging and stuff that's in the rap music and whatnot. It's not good for the kids. He like promotes that kind of message, and so he just kind of sat there and said that Cardi B is like really nasty, and that made that like joke about her getting cheated on. And I'm like, and he also said her butt is fake, and I'm like, these aren't really jokes. This is all supposed to be comedy, but like, where, like, it seems like nobody who understood comedy could be there. Like, there are actual conservative comedians, like I think like Nick DiPaolo is like a famous one, but I don't think he really incorporates politics into his act, but he's like an outspoken, like right-wing dude who believes in like some borderline QAnon things. But he's like, known to spout out a joke or two that's actually funny. Why is it that like, if now these content creators want to make like comedy, why don't they just like reach out to someone like him to make real comedy for their stuff or for their side, or whatever? Like, if they're trying to get the bag off of that,
because
like, why not?
Because that means that someone would have to go out and probably pay a consultation fee in order to set things up for things and plans that may not even happen and could potentially fall through. No one's coming out.
What do you think these unfunny people are getting for being on these shows? Like,
that's about. So here's the thing: when you talk about these YouTubers and these people who want to like grow, a lot of these people are not putting any sort of monetary investment into other people to come on their show or for tips or anything like that. A lot of them aren't going to do that because they think true. as long as they can say, like, for example, I'll come out with a YouTube video saying, wow, that subtle fraudulence guy sure is a weirdo, isn't he? Just look at those lips. Look at his camera. His camera makes him look like a missing no. Like, these aren't jokes. I'm just saying hot nonsense and gobbledygook. And they're like, I want a paycheck. And it's like, oh, well, why don't you talk to this guy over here who's clearly good at writing jokes? Why don't you talk to him and tell him how to do a setup? No, that's a waste of time. People already watch my content. It's like, yes, but they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at how terrible you are. And then it's like, guys, just because I said that my co-host here looks weird wasn't a shot. It was just, come on, guys, it's comedy, right? And it's like, that's not how comedy works. No, there has to be a setup. There has to be something that builds to it. There has to be a comedic payoff for the audience. But they're just saying stuff like, Cardi B got cheated on.
So you're saying I look weird, huh? Weird, huh? No.
Is that where you want to go with this? I mean, we can go there. The only thing that looks weird on your side of the screen is the Ariel on your shirt. It's probably not even Ariel, to be honest, but
It is Ariel. She's here with
Oh,
Pokemon.
oh,
Um,
well, all right. See, I would have lost that mix up right there.
it's probably the way my camera is looking, but yeah, Cardi B getting cheated on, right? Yeah, crazy, wild topic.
Like it doesn't make sense. Like, why would that be like a topic of discussion for like a comedy show unless you were going to like bring it in? Like that doesn't like make sense at all. And a
I
lot
think
of
we as
comedians on YouTube do that. And
I
I'm
think we
pretty
as
go
people
on.
understand that there's such a big line of people who are trying to be in Offset's position that like someone making a joke about like Offset cheating on her is just kind of like a okay, but she can literally go outside and get like 5 dudes to like send her nudes right now, or like be like, hey, I would marry you right now and pay for it. Like Cardi B is well loved and she's seen as a very attractive woman, so you can't sit here and make some joke that she's ugly, even though there are like thousands of people who are going to be like, nah man, you're off, sorry.
I mean, like some of the way some of these people tell jokes is like, hey, this guy is stereotypically this thing. Isn't that funny? And it's just like, no, that's just like there could be a joke there, but they never get to it. That's the problem. And it's like, look, if you guys want jokes, just go on Vine or not Vine, but TikTok. You could probably steal half of the stuff. Like, look at all the stuff they're doing with Lil Nas X and the stupid stripper pole, which I'm getting tired of seeing, by the way. Just want to make
No,
sure that's 100% clear.
I'm glad I'm out of that side of the algorithm right there. My peoples that I follow on things, they've all gotten tired of that already. They blew that up before the music video itself blew up, and then I stopped seeing it. I see other brilliant things like Kamala Harris is telling us all that they're way too busy to deal with that whole weed stuff that they said they would do. They're just gonna do other stuff now.
So you mean the thing that happens every time that someone new gets into an office space?
I know I did promise you to do this, that I would do this, but
I mean, you name me
I'm
one
real
politician that doesn't do that. Like that's why I said, look, politicians, you should give them one term,
Mhm.
and then you get them out of there. Now, if they start hitting like the 60, 70, 80% of their to-do list, and they start expediting the process of the things that said they were going to fight for, or at the very least, if they don't always get them to fall through, you can definitely see that they've been campaigning for it for a long period of time, and they are definitely putting in the legwork to get things done, and they're not just half stepping and quarter assing the entire like negotiation process of the things that they want that their constituents voted for them for. Then yeah, all right, you might be able to reward them with a second term. But I'm getting tired of people in office, whether it be state level office or even further beyond with the national level audience. But I feel like if they go in there and they don't even have a history of, campaigning for the things that they said they were going to campaign for, then you do not reward them with a second term. That's just more time for them to sit there and twiddle their thumbs. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of these people just love to run for office. They get the win and they could just put that on their resume. That's it.
That was Donald
I was
Trump's
a
entire
governor.
presidency.
I was a president. Like, it's just
That was Donald Trump's entire presidency. And like that's every time he ran, because he did people don't talk about this enough, but he ran multiple times and it always happened to be a time when he needed to promote something. So he was like, yeah, I'm gonna run. I mean, I know I'm not gonna win, but hey, I'm Donald Trump. People are gonna know me and they're gonna be like, oh, I ran for president. And then there was that one year where it was like, wait, they're actually gonna vote for me? Let's see where this goes. And then the rest is history.
I mean, Hillary Clinton fumbled the bag. Well, here's the thing. The Democratic Party fumbled the bag in 2016.
There we go. They continue to fumble.
They had the penultimate layup. I mean, like, just throw the ball up. It's going in the hoop. They had it. And then for some reason, they said, how about we choose the person that has the utmost baggage on our platform and just go out of our way to systematically just Dougie Bernie Sanders.
This is the same party that tried to tell us that Bernie Sanders is bad for people. And it's like, you mean to tell me the guy who's trying to give us like free everything is bad for us? It's like, excuse you, I'm poor. I would like free money, free healthcare, free education, free food. I would like all those things.
No,
Free is the best price for me.
but see, here's the
No,
thing
but
though,
someone else is going to have to pay for it.
and
Okay.
it's just like, yeah, but we've like, do you want to pay me or China? Like, think about that for a second.
No, there we go. Always. It's like,
Because I
it's
mean,
like, do you want China to fund your life? It's like, yeah, it's probably already happening.
It's like, say, have you seen our debt ceiling right now? Have you seen how bad we owe China right now? Like today?
Well, that's not just China though. That's
Oh, I know that's everybody, but specifically China. Y'all over here talking about like China's the great devil, and it's just like, do you know how much stuff we get from there over the years?
it's like 8% of the full debt that we're in. So it's really annoying that they always use China as a scapegoat to like fearmonger people. Like, do you want to owe more money to China?
Well, when it comes to like foreign investors who hold mostly 40% of the U.S. debt right now, like if you keep it a buck, like
Japan is the top.
Yeah, Japan owns like what 1.4 trillion or something like that, and mainland China is like at least over 1 trillion last I looked. And everybody, like, I think the next closest is like almost 500 million, like not even quite 500 million.
Right.
Like, do you know how crazy that is? Excuse me, 500 billion. Excuse me, not 500 million, 500 billion.
Half a trillion.
Like one's like I know that it's crazy when we start talking about numbers that high. But I think like the UK, Great Britain is like 430 mil, something in there last I checked. And I'm like 3 times as much Japan by itself. 2.5 times as much China by itself. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Like, we bombed Japan. Like we devastated their lives. They made Godzilla because of us. And still we owe them a lot of money.
Because here's the thing though, we hit them with a cultural reset. Like, I don't think people understand that we hit them with 3 nukes. Like, I don't think you guys understand at that point. That is a cultural reset right there.
Yeah, but the reset was not for the better, man. They gave us lollies after that, so I don't know, man.
You know what? They did give us the anime. You know what I'm saying? You take the good, you take it with the good and the bad, man.
They gave us the anime.
Yeah, they gave us the anime. Then they gave people lollies. And unfortunately, like, I'm not blaming them for furries, but I just feel like something they put out there in the anime beamed something into some of these folks' heads, and that's how we got those. I'm just saying, I ain't know about furry culture until anime started coming out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody liked anime so much that they turned My Little Pony into its own quirky little series for kids, and then adults were like, yo, this shit's hidden. I love this, man. Actually, I'm gonna buy all the stuff. It's like, wait, what? No, not for you. I've already bought it. Sorry.
And it's like, this isn't who this was for. And then that's how you end up with that dude from the Powerpuff Girls who was like, NRFB never removed from box.
Bro, the best dude. He's like, my collection isn't complete until I collect them.
And their essence. Like, hello? Like, bro, do y'all even remember the brony period of time? Like, that was wild. Because they were just so prominent. Like, they were everywhere. Then they had Ball Pit Con and
didn't that only die out because BronyCon itself like got canceled?
I'm not about to sit here and lie to you. I don't know. All I know is they had Ball Pit Con, where it was the scam, man. People thought they were going to go over there and have the pony time of their life. Then there was the dude who wanted to start a Kickstarter to buy a whole private island so they can make a real version of Ponyland or whatever what's it called? Do you know off the top of your head? Whatever
I think it's Equestria.
That sounds about right. We'll go with that. So, what was it again? I forgot it already that fast.
Equestria?
All right, Equestria, whatever it's called. They were going to buy an island. Like, there's a whole Kickstarter about it. And they wanted like a couple $2 billion. And they made a little bit of bank off that, by the way. Nowhere near goal. But they were definitely tapping into a very vulnerable demographic of people at that time. Very disgusting business practice, but hey, such as Kickstarter, am I right? How's Star Citizen working out for you guys? What's that? It's not? Dang, that's crazy. You hate to see it. But there's also
hey man, Mark Hamill's gonna be in that video game. What are you talking about? My money is paying for good things.
Nah, man, no, it's not. Mark Hamill was also in The Last Jedi. Like, just because he's in something does not mean he is in control of the situation. All right. Sometimes he's just in the vehicle as a passenger. All right. He's not in the
Hey
driver's
man,
seat.
he was also in The Mandalorian. You can't hate that. That is Star
But the
Wars amazingness. I almost
Mandalorian,
said Star Trek. I'm bad.
oh
I'm
no,
sorry.
bro. The ghost of Patrick Stewart's going to kill you before he dies. Just
Bro,
want
he's
you to know
not.
that. I
Come on,
said
man.
before he dies. You were about to say, yeah, no, I know what I said.
Come on, man. He's in the X-Men movies too, so
Yeah,
he'll be more
exactly.
mad about that instead.
Yeah, man, don't remind me of those movies, man. I just saw Apocalypse like the other day, bro. I would
That
just
movie is
rather.
great compared to Dark Phoenix.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I would just rather not talk about those movies at all. All right, I would just rather move on with my day than sit here and talk about the X-Men movies because, man, they could have been something special. They could have been one of the greatest superhero stories told in the modern era. And not only did they fumble the bag, they puked in it, took a dump in it, let it on fire, and threw it on my lawn. I just wasn't necessarily prepared to deal with the whole smorgasbord of nonsense that series and cinematic universe became. Thank you very
They
much.
could have been just as good as the episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier that gave us Baron Zemo dancing, and it's so good that people requested an hour-long cut, and Disney was like, "There you go, guys. We'll give you the hour-long cut of Zemo dancing in the club. Just that's
relax.
it.
That's all it is.
Simple as that." But no, they fumbled the bag because that's how you guys do, right? You fumble the bag when you got the easy pass. Making a video game movie about a story-driven video game. Oh, that's cool. Let's change up the whole fucking thing. Why don't we?
What's that? A comic book where they've already written the script and we have been proven that the comic book / manga or book or whatever it is was already a resounding success and people want us to literally just make that and give it life through visuals? Nah, bro. We gonna rewrite it off top. We gonna change the characters' names, how you pronounce them. They're gonna change their origin story. Yeah, we're gonna do all that. What do you mean they didn't like it? That's what's crazy. Like, people get paid to make these decisions.
That's right, Ong. What are you doing, Ong?
Get out of here, Soka. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, bro, I just don't understand how we get into these situations where you be letting these directors who did not work on the original source material just start getting creative control to a point to where they just start making up stuff to where they just like, nah, man, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the original creator wanted. They're doing it wrong. It's like,
Come
what do you
on,
mean
man.
they're doing it wrong? It's their book. It's their
like
content.
It's like seasons 3 through 5 of The Wire. It all comes together in the end, and then you'll really appreciate it once you're done. Just power through all of it. Come on, man. Wasn't season 1 good enough?
Nah, man, you can't be doing that, bro. I just get mad. Like I understand, like, sometimes, you know, you start the anime or you start the show too early and the original source material hasn't finished, so now you gotta come up with your own ending. But some of this stuff be like finished, complete, bestseller, clearly an A1 story. And they said, well, no, if they've read the book, then, you know, then what's the point of just making a movie? And it's just like, listen here. Listen here. People just want the visual, all right? And there are plenty of people, and I guarantee you, more people haven't read the book that are interested in this type of media than those who have read the book. It's not like you're losing a huge portion of your audience by changing, or excuse me, by just going with what's in the book.
Exactly.
What are you
Who
doing?
reads books in 2021? Come on, man.
Although there is
movie.
there is one change that I must say is kind of funny.
All right.
So in the original, I want to say it was the Goblet of Fire, but it's one of the Harry Potter books. I'm pretty sure it's the Goblet of Fire because apparently the book says Dumbledore calmly asked Harry, specifically says calmly, like, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? But when you watch that movie, that man frantically running down the stairs like he almost fell. He said,
did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire, Harry? Harry, tell me.
But no, he doesn't even say like his voice is just all over the place. I'm like, to me, that was hilarious, but that didn't break the story. Like, it was definitely just part of the story. I'm talking about when it's like, oh, what's that? Oh man, that's crazy. You mean this character gets a power up and defeats the menace, but then in the movie, that character doesn't get a power up. It just goes back to the generic main character and he gets the power up or she gets the power up and defeats the main character, leaving that side character to have literally no growth and thus a deflated character arc. so in the sequel movie, we don't care about this character at all. Man, that's crazy.
That sounds
That's
oddly specific.
crazy. No, it's not oddly specific. I mean, you could tie that to a lot of things. I mean, hell, Dragon Ball Super, you could tie it to. Because, I mean, as you know, with the whole history of Dragon Ball, that manga is always different from the anime. Because in the manga, Kaioken's not a thing. That doesn't exist. That is an anime exclusive technique. But that's a whole different other smorgasbord of problems that you'd have to go down right there. And I'm not going to dig down the rabbit hole of, the discrepancies between one form of media and the other. But even then, some people think, well, hey, if it's not the Goku show, no one's going to watch. Therefore, we got to make it about Goku all the time, 24/7, 365. And, that's one way to do it. But then there's some times where they'll just take a plot and the first movie will be similar to what the source material is. And the second movie and third movie are just basically you're watching somebody's fan fiction on the big screen at this point. And
jeez.
Twilight,
no. 50 Shades, no.
And it's just all right, guys, you just pack your suitcase and get the fuck out. Just leave. Just Alt F4, shut her down, pack it up, go on somewhere. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's another group of people who I do think need to go on somewhere. And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but since we were talking about Steven Crowder earlier, Maya Eccles, Black Lives Matter leader, let's get the air quotes out here, leader, claims that all hell will break loose if Chauvin isn't put in cuffs by the end of this trial, and says expect burning cities, yada, 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 so on and so forth. The same old grifter, reactionary stuff that, you hear people say to get a reaction out of people. The type of stuff where, they just want to say inflammatory words in order to get noticed, spark some controversy and get some notoriety and some clout in the process. Now, that being said, we've been here before, and the whole burning down of cities is first of all, that's never a good way to do it. And I'm not saying that, it's not a quote unquote effective way of getting demands, but when you're burning down 90% your own communities and your stuff, you look comical. You look kind of dumb.
Plus,
when you're over here screaming from the top of your lungs that Black Lives Matter, which they most certainly do. Let's not get into it. Come on, guys. Look at us. We definitely matter. And if you disagree, go fuck yourself before I bop you one. Anywho, it's funny that, they'll say oh, Black Lives Matter. They'll scream that from the rooftops. But then some of the businesses they burn down are Black owned. And it's you're sitting there so did this person's life not matter? Did this family's life not matter? And it's don't get me wrong. I understand. I would say about 90% of the people that we've seen out there, peaceful protesting, no problem doing what you're doing. But the people who are really doing the legwork to actually get some sort of infrastructure done, people who are actually in these talks at City Hall and beyond, we're actually trying to look, these are the issues that we are facing as a community, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Let's see if we can get these, nipped in the bud. This is what we could do here. This is how we can be out here. Those are the people that I will have my hat off to and will give great thanks to and have my utmost respect. But some of these people are just they're literally only tied to Black Lives Matter because they have a social media presence. That's it. Those people, they can all go away because they don't matter. Those are the people, and this is for any political group. It doesn't have, it could be Democrats, Republicans, Black Lives Matter. There's people who want to say that they're woke or they're anti-liberal, but they don't do anything to for the betterment of their people or the country as a whole. They're just out here to say things to get retweets, likes, some posts, and, a little bit of money machine coming from the YouTube algorithm. That's it. Those people, they can all jump in the same suitcase, be tied to a cinder block, and chucked into the Atlantic Ocean. Because they don't matter. And those are the type of people that I wish would just go away. I'm not saying they have to die, guys. Relax. I'm just saying I wish they would just go away. Because they don't contribute anything. At all.
Well, they do contribute something. They give more notoriety to the alleged cause. So they stir things up. We wouldn't know who Ben Shapiro is if he didn't sit here and go, well, you see, my wife says that if your pussy is that wet, then you've got a disease. They then bring some sort of notice to the cause. So they do have a purpose. It's just that they're fucking like they get too much power, like they get power crazy from their purpose. They're like, yeah, everybody's paying attention to me, so I can say, whatever I want and people will listen to it. And it's like, all right, maybe you shouldn't like sit here and tweet about how the buildings are going to be burned down and you're going to cause bloodshed and all this other nonsense. Like maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should dial all of that down before they take you seriously. Also, before people who are against you, people who are oppressing you, people who are opposed to what you're doing, then use that as a scapegoat to say, yeah, we don't have to change anything. We don't have to change anything at all. Look at these heathens out here. They're trying to burn down buildings. They're trying to do all this other stuff. Yeah, whatever. I know that insurance is supposed to handle, these unforeseen circumstances, but, whatever. Fuck insurance. Like, no, guys, like they should just not be doing that. It's like, okay. And then we just go and all these arguments of like, what are you talking about? Buildings are just buildings and people. And it's like, hey guys, let's stop talking about the buildings and start talking about the oppression that's going on. Let's talk about that. No, hold on. This guy said that I would burn down a building and that the building is more important than my sister. Hold on, guy. It's like, all right, how about we get back to the message? And no. We got to talk more about how this guy over here, he's gonna get off. Is like, yes, that is a problem. Let's actually talk about that. It's a problem that he's going to get off for what he's doing. No. Back to the buildings. So the whole idea of like there being like quote unquote a leader of this social movement is kind of baffling to me, because it's more than something that requires like a specific leader to say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and everyone who believes in this believes in what that person is saying. It's never going to be the case with something like Black Lives Matter. It's never even going to be the case with like people who are like All Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter or whatever. It's just like it means a lot more than that. Mind you, Black Lives Matter, of course, has like more of like an important meaning than like, Blue Lives Matter, because Blue Lives Matter is like, hey, it's not nice that you guys don't respect cops. They're out there risking their lives. You shouldn't be putting cops in danger. It's like, oh, okay. It's like they are also equipped to handle danger, as opposed to some of the Black lives that don't.
Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Black Lives Matter is a movement. People think like it's like this Illuminati, like conglomerate organization of like multiple branches of people out there, like
which is false.
running through the streets with like their own mission statement and
yeah, whatever they make you think, your black neighbor is not plotting against you or anything like that, just in case you're like you don't agree with them or some nonsense like that. That is not the case.
Like there's a Black Lives Matter like headquarters, like, because I'm like, I don't see any of y'all having the same energy for the hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Like, do you think there's a Stop Asian Hate HQ somewhere? Is that what you're thinking? Like, come on now.
Well, you see.
All right, go on.
Well, you see, that's only gaining traction now. So, a few more, incidents, a few more protests.
In a few months, there will be a Stop Asian Hate HQ. All right.
No, I'm saying in a few months, maybe even a few years, that they're going to say the same things. Like, wow, look at these people. Like they're trying to tell us that there's all kinds of racism against Asians. Like, look at them. Let's go to their HQ and let's blow up their HQ. See how they feel about the buildings then. That kind of nonsense. All those things, all those stupid talking points will come out at some point if things stay the same, where it's like there's still like a wide spread disrespect of Asians, and then there's like a wide string of like Asians being like assaulted or like murdered because they're Asian.
Exactly, because look, every time we have like discourse, like or something like crazy happens, like let me take you back a few years to the whole GLC Smollett thing. Like, remember when he first came out and said that these things happen, and how everybody had his back. Everybody was like, yo, that's wild. Then the details started to come out, and one by one, we're like,
right.
2 a.m.
Jesse,
Subway.
Jesse, talk less, bro. Like, talk less. We're trying to support you, but talk less before they figure out what you're doing, man.
And then I was like, wait, you making us all look bad right now, bro. Hold on. You did what? Then you found out that the two people who beat him up were like paid actors, and they were Nigerian. And my man was like, they claimed that the noose was around his neck on the scene. So let me get this straight. Your hands weren't tied. There was a noose around your neck, but you kept it around your neck until the cops got there? What?
One of the things that
I'm
always
mad
gets
confused
me,
by this.
somebody like pointed out, they're like, he finished the sandwich, guys. I don't know about you, but after a traumatic event like that happening to me, I wouldn't go home and finish the sandwich. And I'm like,
Because
right.
his thing, right? Like, he goes home and they found the sandwich wrapper in the trash can after he ate the sandwich. And I was like, bro, if I just got jumped, I'm bleeding everywhere.
I don't have an appetite at that point.
I'm thinking my whole life on how I got into this situation to begin with. And then once he started handing out the quotes, it was like, all right, if they are that racist, why are they saying, are you that dude from Empire? Like, that doesn't.
Yeah,
I feel
like that's what always got me. As soon as I like read the part where they're like, yeah, you're that F word from Empire. And I'm like, hold on. Racist people are going to know that? I don't know, man. I don't think they pay attention that much. I mean, Empire is kind of niche, but okay, whatever. You know, maybe Chicago's different.
Because Jussie Smollett's not even the only dude who did this. Like, we can't have these people out here crying wolf, because when these real things happen, you know, a lot of people are gonna be very skeptical. Like, remember about Edon Kaufman in Atlanta? This was about, I want to say this was last year or 2019 or something like that.
You're gonna have to refresh my memory on that one.
All right, so Edon Kaufman, he owned like I want to say it was like a baked pizza shop, you know, like a pizzeria, you know, like small time, like, you know, like a mini version of CC's Pizza, something like that, right?
Right.
So basically, it was like, all right, so he had like a ice cream spot as well. Like, it was like bacon pizza and like Kaufman's Creamery or whatever. Point is, what he did was he decided to smash his windows of the business, paint all types of swastikas, some of them not even actually swastikas, because I guess you forgot to do shapes. And then he like wrote words like monkey all over the wall.
Yeah.
And then he caught himself in 4K. You may say, how did he catch himself in 4K? So his own business security camera caught him throwing all the TVs and expensive electronics into the back of his own truck. That's his truck, and driving off with them. And then he came back the next day, normal time, going, no, what happened to my business? Look at what these racists did to me.
Oh, that's how you set people back when they have movements like Black Lives Matter or Stop Asian Hate. You're sitting here like, hey, see guys, I'm helping.
Yeah, you know, because you want to know what else he spray painted on the wall?
What is it?
MAGA, Make America Great Again.
That's right.
And it's just like, come on, man. Like, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. Oh, and by the way, he was released on bond, so he didn't serve any time. He may be saying, how do you not serve
like a false police report?
You got to remember, man, that he's an ex-NFL player, and if he was smart with his money, he clearly was, because he was able to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
We knew he wasn't. He probably walked in there, shook a few hands, was like, yeah, I'm an offensive lineman. You don't want to mess with me. And he said, oh, shit. And then they said, Mr. Kaufman, it's time for you to get out. And yeah, he was processed and out of there in no time. Kaufman is apparently presumed innocent, you know, like anyone else who's accused of a crime. So don't prejudge him without knowing all the facts. That's what his attorney said when he was released, because he went in there and was released immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kaufman told the police that he had noticed the damage a day earlier, and that's when he called his insurance company to report the damages, but did not call 911, according to his statement. The first thing he did was he called the insurance company, and if that doesn't look sketch to you, I don't know what does. But then he got arrested the second time about this, because like the first time they thought he did it, but they didn't really have any proof. That's why he was released. So the second time he gets arrested, they found the yellow crowbar and the cans of black spray paint in his vehicle. He didn't even take the evidence out.
The lesson to be learned here is how about you don't lie about some very, very huge crime being committed against you when it comes to something that has any sort of like political agenda, any sort of like social, you know, agenda behind it, because you're just going to ruin whatever the hell that is. So, yeah.
Like the whole Edon Kaufman story was just like, it was wild. I think like I even made a video about it a while back. Like it was just so like, how Sway? How? You would think that maybe it was the CT getting to him, like, but it was too well thought out. My man had the spray cans, he had the bracket removed, like he just ripped the brackets out of the wall. Like he didn't even like take the on wall mount brackets off the TVs when he did it. He just ripped the whole thing down. And I'm just sitting here like, man, y'all are really out here bugging. Y'all are really geeking for no reason at this point. But hey, it be what it be. Also, next on the docket, we got the Esports Commission confirms that the FBI is investigating match fixing, but says it's not new. And look, guys, y'all gotta understand, esports has finally hit that level where it's a multi-million to billion-dollar industry, and there's a lot of big boy money that is going to be lost and gained from these tournaments, these events, these pro tours, these invitationals, yada yada, so on and so forth. And like the FBI investigating them, this is no different than the FBI investigating like Pete Rose back when they were like, oh, you're betting on games, are you? Let's see that. And even if you're betting on your team to win, just the secondary, motivation of knowing that you're betting on your own games does not look good to the sport. And it doesn't look good to, a lot of the onlookers who are just so happening to be, funding these events, whether it be other corporations, other potential sponsors, people who might want to be investors, private investors especially, might be looking at it and saying, this is looking a bit sketch. And I mean, let's face it, when it comes to regular sports, you have all these things like DraftKings and all these other Final Fantasy-esque, I definitely said Final Fantasy, but the fantasy sports leagues out there. I don't know. Every time I hear fantasy, I don't know why Final just feels like it just feels right at home in front of the word fantasy. But you guys get my point.
There have been 15 of them, so we all know.
Hey, there's been more than that because you got Tactics, you got 10-2. Like, trust me, bro. Like, didn't Lightning get like 3 games? Like,
she sure did.
So
she
yeah,
sure did.
There's definitely more than 15, but I digress. But yeah, esports investigating, being investigated by the FBI is not really something that I think is too much out of the ordinary. I mean, you saw not too earlier over there in Poland, I believe, where CD Projekt Red was being investigated by their equivalent of the FBI for lying to their consumers about what you're going to be getting when it comes to the now infamous PlayStation version of good old-fashioned Cyberpunk 2077. But I feel like it's gonna be, I don't want necessarily hard to separate bureaus of investigation from esports, but I also feel like they have a place to be there because there's a lot of money that can be shifted so fast off of a couple of button presses. And we all know in a lot of cases, this isn't like, the Olympics where, a lot of people may be from different lands and yada, yada, so on and so forth. In a lot of these tight-knit communities who are playing these games like your Apex Legends, your Fortnites, your Mortal Kombats, your Street Fighters, your Dotas, a lot of the top players all know each other and like they're homies with each other. They'll show up on each other's streams. So, it may not necessarily be too far-fetched to believe that, like, hey, if we get first and second, we can split the price or split the prize right down the middle and get the 2 big payouts. Or, oh, man, I understand that you might want to win, so I'm going to throw this match just so we can gatekeep this guy out in losers or something like that. Or, oh, if you beat me, we eliminate that guy. Sick. In a round-robin format, well, I'll let you win because I'll clear everybody else out. Or I already clinched my spot in the final bracket, so I'm going to let you beat me on purpose just so I don't have to play so-and-so in the finals.
I mean, let's think about this. Remember the Dragon Ball World Tour format where players who already got accepted into the finals were allowed to enter some of the qualifying events, and every single time they could not get someone who entered they could not get someone to win that qualifying event so that they could get a spot. A last chance qualifier got added to the actual finals day, and then there were like 6 of those by the end of it, because you had players like Sonic Fox and Goichi who were just in all of these tournaments. Is like, you already qualified, why are you here? Because I want to play and defeat you.
Exactly. But those things, like, That's fine because unfortunately, the way they wrote the rules, that's just in the bylaws.
Yeah,
Like, so
those were
that's
based on the
different.
rules. But like, think of the like non-rule version of that, where you just have the back alley conversation of, all right, so I already know, like, I'm already good. You know, I've already got like, I won a tournament last week where I got like $20,000. So I want you to win, buddy. So I'm gonna enter the tournament, and I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna lose round 2. And I'm gonna go through losers and body everybody else. It's gonna be me and you in grand finals.
No, let me take you back 5 or 6 years. Just Google collusion in the FGC. That's all I'm gonna say. Just Google that and see what you come up with, and you'll know exactly what type of events we are talking about.
Look, man, I know some Smash events that were definitely. Actually, no, Mewtwo King got banned from MLG for like a tournament because of that. Because they found that M2K was throwing some stuff to collude to the buddies, and they were like, okay, M2K, we obviously know that you would have won this. We see like you're literally doing side B, but you don't use that move. All right, yeah. So they banned him for a tournament because of that. So like it's been happening for years. I mean, this is in Brawl days.
This takes you like almost. Oh God, this Brawl's like what 15 years ago, 14. Like God, damn. You know what? Let's not talk about it, bro. I don't feel like going down memory lane. Right. I think 14 years ago was like actually half my life ago, and I don't think I need to go there at this point. But if we want to go there, we can always talk about Sony because Sony, we already knew they were petty. Always turning down all the availability of having themselves and their PS5 or PS4 for that matter being integrated into any games that have third-party crossplay. Where they could play with Xbox gamers, PC gamers, Switch gamers. And, you saw there was a history during the PS4 era where they would decline such invitations to have, games be crossplay. And, a lot of people were rubbed the wrong way about that. Well, apparently Disney is not big enough for them to not want the smoke because they find themselves back in some hot water again over Spider-Man. Would you care to let the people know?
So, the Spider-Man news account tweeted that moving forward, Netflix is going to be the place to get all of your Spider-Man content. So, basically, whenever okay, let me just read the tweet. The streaming future of the MCU Spider-Man is on Netflix. After 2022, any Spider-Man movies will be streaming exclusively on Netflix after their theatrical runs. Meaning, the next Spider-Man movie, was it like No Way Home? Once that, gets released in theaters, you're going to be on Netflix. It's going to be there. You're going to get to watch it. Like, fuck you, Disney. It doesn't matter that you own Spider-Man. We own the Spider-Man movies. So Netflix, go ahead and pay us the money because you get access to our movies. So, yeah. Oh, well, wait. Update. No Way Home and Venom 2 will not be a part of this deal. But, what is it? Morbius and any other future Spider-Man or Venom movies will be a part of this deal.
So Spider-Verse 2 and the like will be over there.
Into the Spider-Verse 2 is going to be a part of it. So Netflix.
And Spider-Verse 2 comes out next year, right? 2022, right?
Yeah, allegedly.
Man, who would have ever thought that Spider-Verse 2 might be the first movie we see outside of the pandemic? That might be the first movie we go to the theaters to see.
Could be. I don't know, man.
But
if it's coming on the streaming platform,
I am in no rush to go back to a theater. Like now that we've gotten a few under our belt, just sitting at the crib or, sitting at the homie's house, eating on whatever it is we want to eat on, with the ability to be like, all right, the audio mixing is actually kind of shit in this movie. Rewind that. And then being able to get the full meal, the full entire experience. Being like, oh, I didn't catch that. Yo, rewind that real quick. Oh, that's what he said, man. That's crazy. That's what she's doing. Oh, that's crazy. Like the ability to have that amount of control and, not having to listen to stupid people always trying to like talk to the characters on the big screen while you're at the theater, or having people get up, walk in front of you, somebody's phone going off, or my personal favorite, we're in the middle of a high stakes action movie or God forbid a horror movie where people are getting decapitated and stabbed and chased by the boogeyman, and then a 4-year-old toddler goes, wah! It's like, why are you bringing your 4-year-old to Mortal Kombat? Why are you bringing your 12-month-old to see Jason slit somebody's throat and kick him down some stairs? What are we doing?
He's got to learn young, man. He's got to learn young what's out there, you know?
He's not even going to retain that information. Little Billy and young Susan are not suited to understand the things that are happening. Like,
well, you see, Elon Musk has
my
struck a
God.
deal with me where he's actually going to, install a device. I believe they call it computer chip. I don't know what that is, but
wait, he struck a deal with who?
He's gonna, do that with the child.
You said he struck a deal with you?
Yep, struck a deal. He's gonna put this computer chip, as they call it.
That's capped. 10 minutes ago in this very same podcast, you said the words, "Come on, man, I need a handout. I'm poor." Nah, man, either you poor or you got contact with Elon Musk.
So you think that you think that poor people can't strike deals with Elon Musk?
No,
wow.
I think Elon Musk is a terrible human being who is not striking deals with poor people. That's
Look
what
at the classism here. Come on, man. Elon Musk went on the Joe Rogan podcast and smoked weed in front of everybody.
Yes, and
he's a cool guy.
Did you hear what he's trying to do with weed? Did you hear what he's trying to do? He wants April 20th to be considered to be Elon Musk Day.
That's right. See, because he's a weed smoker. He is the weed smoker. So back to the computer chip technology that he's promoting here. He'll allow the children to remember their dreams as a baby. Come on, man.
I do not smoke weed, and I am 100% against you smoking weed. But I'll tell you this right about now. If you do smoke weed, you should be frothing at the mouth, chomping at the bit at this hot and googly butt nonsense of this man trying to claim 420 as his own. And by frothing at the mouth, I mean you should just probably light one up and shut the fuck up because no one really fucking cares. The cheek of it all is what astounds me.
Well, you see, once you get a certain amount of money, you just don't know how other people believe. You don't know how other people think. You're just like, hey, they love me, man. I'm out here. I'm giving them the tech.
All right,
I'm giving them cars.
If I become a billionaire, I want June 19th.
Billionaire?
Yeah.
You mean a trillionaire, sir. You got to have at least $1 trillion to get past the clouds. All right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, just give me June 19th. Just give me 619, bro.
Yeah, maybe as a billionaire, you might get a street or, a building. But, you got to get at least $1 trillion before you get yourself a day or, a cloud or, a monument of some sort. Come on, man.
Nah, man. Abraham Lincoln wasn't no damn billionaire, and that man got 2 monuments.
Bro, he got shot.
Yeah, I don't give a
like he was trying to enjoy his day. Like he is a part of the I got shot clause. Like what are you saying?
I got shot clause. Hey man, if you want a monument, you either got to be a trillionaire or get shot. Did Tupac get a monument? Hold on, we have to start thinking about these things.
Nah, man, you got to be a president who got shot. Come on now.
But Martin Luther King wasn't a president, and he got shot, and that man got a monument.
Hey man, he was a president in our hearts.
Okay, I'm not even going to dispute that. I'm going to just move on.
Do you think MLK would actually win a presidential race if he ran?
I'm sure he would have.
Right, we'll see.
Well, not in the era in which he was doing things. But,
look, man, it was legal to be racist back then. So
yeah, like it was legal to look at a person like me and say, "That's right, you dirty nigger." It was legal, and I just had to hold that.
It was legal for you and me to walk into like a bar or a soda shop or something, and then everybody just look at you like nah, we don't serve you. Get the fuck out of here, and call the cops, and the cops are like, yeah, what are you doing here? Get out.
You're not used to this side of town, are you, boy? And then just start beating us up. Like
it's like read the sign.
Like you guys gotta understand, like these things didn't happen like 100 years ago. Like there are people who lived through that who are literally walking on the planet today.
It's also in a famous television series that a lot of you have watched called The Umbrella Academy. So just in case you forgot.
Yeah, just in case you got and just had to, get pulled up to speed. There you go. But yeah,
all that stuff is real.
But I'm telling you, man, it's just like, it's wild. It's just wild. But yeah, president in our hearts, Martin Luther King Jr. Wow. A solemn vow needs to be taken on this day. But anyways, back over to the regularly scheduled itinerary. So, there's a group of weirdos out there, and I mean a bunch of social degenerates, mental defects, whatever you want to call them. And they're known as the wait till she's 18 crowd. And it's these people who are like weirdly obsessed with underage, like YouTube, movie, podcast, whatever personalities, singers, songwriters, whatever, any sort of entertainment industry people who are underage, and they're just sitting there salivating, waiting for them to be 18 on they tiger grind out here in these streets, bro. Just staring through the glass like, yeah. Then the minute she's 18, all of a sudden they're like, oh man, please make an OnlyFans. Well, they're asking at 17 that she's got an OnlyFans. They're trying to slide in the DMs at 6. They're definitely trying to slide in the DMs before. But these are some weird people out there. And then, like, I don't know if it's like the hypersexuality of just Western culture at this point, but like, there are some people who, like, on their 18th birthday, I'm talking about clock strikes 12. Like, they were signing up for an OnlyFans account when they were 17.99 years old. At 11:57 that night, they were making the account. And at midnight 01, they are making the content. I don't know how we got here, but like, there'd be people who were subscribing so fast. And I'm like, I don't know, is it just me that finds it weird? Like, is it just me?
It may not be just you, but I don't find it weird because of what our society has been doing for literal years as far as 18-year-olds and as far as, like, fresh out the teenage years girls and what they mean to society. I mean, did you ever think about the term barely legal and how that's used to describe to describe models, to describe porn stars, to describe porn videos, to describe all kinds of sexual things, and how that's been like an accepted term for like ages?
I know it's been accepted term, but it's still weird to me. Like, it's still like,
yeah, but like, we have an entire generation of people who are like, yeah, that's not weird at all. She's 18.
Yeah, but I'm talking about these people have been like, it's not like they find out this person's 18 and then that's when they started being interested. I'm talking about these people who have been like, I mean, you've seen the comment section on some of her videos when she was like, when she first made, what was that terrible song that she made? Like These Hoes or something like that, but it was spelled weird.
These Hoes. So you also got to think about the way that the marketing works too. Like, think about, one of the most popular porn stars right now is Piper Perry. Why? Because of the meme of like her sitting on the chair and then there's the like 6 black dudes behind her or whatever, right? But also around that time, she was very popular because Piper Perry, if you look at her even now, looks like she's like 14. And, that's for these same people who are making these comments about Bad Bobby and whatnot. They're the ones who are like, she's 18, so it's legal, that sort of thing. And they're getting away with it because as a society, we're like, hey, yeah, don't you really love this this innocent porn star here in this video? She's 18. She's fresh out. She's freshly legal, barely legal.
But that's mad weird to me though. Like,
it is weird, but
bro.
like it is weird. But you got to think about the TV shows. You got to think about the movies, about the magazines, about all these things that are taking young women who look like they're younger than they actually are. Take a woman who's 21 who looks like she's 18, 17, whatever, and how they're getting pushed to the forefront as like, isn't this girl super sexy? Isn't it amazing how such an innocent looking woman can show her sexual side? And then you have people who are like, I don't understand how so many people were just waiting for Bad Bobby to become 18, even though that girl was sexualized from the jump. That was her claim to fame, her being sexualized. So
exactly, like, I don't know, like some of these people, like some of these people, I'm just assuming they just Like, they are the people that we see on those episodes of Law and Order SVU, bro.
Bro, those people in the episodes of Law and Order SVU are more common than you think, man. More common than you think, man. Matt Gates said that he didn't travel with the 17-year-old. He didn't say that he didn't sleep with one.
He says, I did not travel with her. He's like, you don't have to travel to sleep.
Bro, did you know that there's like a string of like tweets and stuff of him just going to middle schools, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to speak to the youth, and it's like nobody is like, yo, why are you there? Like, what are you doing there? It doesn't matter that you're like a senator or whatever. Like, why are you going to this middle school to talk to young girls right now? Why do you have so many pictures with them?
Well, wait, when the girl only talks?
For the most part, yeah. But he also like adopted like a 19-year-old dude. So it's all sketch. So we as a whole, we as a country look at Florida and then we're like, that's just how they are over there. We don't really like take the magnifying glass over there to look at that place and look at its effect on like other states and whatnot, to be like, oh, it's everywhere. Like, all of these people are like, yeah, she's 18 now. Now it's nice. It doesn't matter that I'm 46. I really like them young. You know, that sort of thing. Plus, you got to think about all the like TV shows that were popular that had like, you know, student on teacher romances, that had, you know, like, oh, my the older brother's best friend romances, all of that stuff as like a common like, wow, well, I really ship these people together. Isn't it amazing? Don't you feel bad? Like, it took until like 2020 to make the show A Teacher, where it was like they just specifically were like, this is about the predatory relationship between the teacher and her young student. And it's like, even that show sexualizes a lot of things with actual sex scenes between this I think it's supposed to be like 16-year-old boy and like 20-something-year-old teacher. Like, all of these things are connected. But yeah, the Bad Bobby thing is, it like, those people are fucking weird, but they're not uncommon. Like, it's because of the fact that it's like, oh, hey, she's legal, so it's not wrong. Even though sometimes legality does not equal right.
Legality and morality are not the same. Like, I'm just letting y'all know that right now. Because
look, man, did you know that in Georgia that it's actually illegal to have sex with the lights off? Like, that doesn't mean that it's wrong to do that. Like, come on.
Like, I forgot what state it is, but like, it's illegal to tie a giraffe to a telephone pole, and it's just like, did somebody do that? Like,
right. There's a court case that happened where a cop walked by some dude's house, and like his windows were like a little bit cracked, and like through the crack he could see that this gay man was having sex with his boyfriend in his home, and the cop busted in and like he fucking arrested the dude for sodomy. And he almost won the case. Yeah, he's like, nah, I saw it. So he's like, and the law was on his side. And it's like, no, but there was nothing wrong with that. And he was in his home. Like,
nah, man, not even the privacy of your own home are you allowed to do whatever it is that you do. Man, that's crazy. That you know what? It was a different time years ago. All right, it was just a different time.
Let's look at the claim to fame that Bad Bobby has had. She is Danielle Bregoli, who is the Catch Me Outside girl, who literally was on an episode of Dr. Phil for being like one of those, like, you know, being like, oh, my 13-year-old is having sex with grown-ass men. No one saying, hey, can you give us the names of these men because they need to be arrested? Instead, they were like, yeah, how do we get this wild teen to stop being so wild? And then she got into an altercation with an audience member who was like, yo, you should be ashamed of yourself. And she's like, Cash Me Outside, how about that? You know, because she was, you know, trying to put on a black scent and whatnot. And then she became a viral sensation. And then she started hanging out with like rappers and trying to start her own rap career. And then she had a follow-up episode on Dr. Phil once her like rap career and her viral fame started to really like peak. And she was like, what, 15, 16 when this happened? And Dr. Phil, of course, tried to, you know, milk that by having a follow-up episode. And then she just proceeded to keep getting more famous. And then she had all these like music videos and stuff where she's like, you know, showing off that she's living the rap lifestyle of partying and whatnot, even though she's underage and, you know, popping bottles and whatnot. Even though she's underage, she's still not old enough to drink, guys, and like nobody cares. They're like, hey, she's kind of cute. Oh, she's not 18. I mean, she's a.
Do you remember what the segment was called? Because I looked this up earlier when you brought it up yesterday. The segment on the Dr. Phil show was called "I Want to Give Up My Car Stealing, Knife Wielding, Twerking 13-year-old Daughter Who Tried to Frame Me for a Crime."
Right.
And it's like, that's a lot. Like, that's almost like the Milton episode of the Boondocks that's based off a real person, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
And I just feel like we're at a point now where it's just like, yo, fiction is starting to become reality real quick. But the other thing that I think is like mad weird about it is like, now we're starting to see that like Dr. Phil's like, you know, turnabout ranch for troubled teens. Like, I'm like, man, you think he's like Charles Xavier with the School of Mutants or something like that? But then apparently, you know, Bad Barbie over here is saying there's a truth about that ranch in Utah. And then, yeah, basically saying that, people are people are getting touched. People are getting groped up over there. They're abusive. There's a bunch of accusations. And she says she's going to, you know, tell all and is going to expose Dr. Phil as the fraud and the charlatan that he is. But then, like, within the same week, she was like, all right, here's my OnlyFans. So, I mean,
well, hey, she can do both. But
I didn't say she couldn't. I'm just saying.
No, I know you're not saying that. But, like, I'm saying, but even the Dr. Phil thing of, like, exposing all of this shit, she's not even, like, it's not even, like, for the like, right, you know, morally right reason. She's trying to, like, make money and publicity off of that too, because she's like, Dr. Phil needs to, you know, announce this or whatever, or I will, basically calling him out to make an episode of the show to like address this or, you know, whatever, instead of just saying these things happened, Dr. Phil should be thrown in jail, this, you know, like everybody involved should be, you know, investigated, whatever. You ever remember Arc Music Factory? Do you remember the travesty that was and how they tried to sexualize like 13-year-olds?
Yeah.
Like blatantly? That guy almost got away with it, man.
But
and there were parents who were like willing to expose it, like, you know, exploit their children because they thought that their kids were going to become viral. They were going to get the clout. So
yeah, like I don't know if you noticed this trend, but like it'll be like these parents, like, you know, filming themselves disciplining their kids by like breaking their possessions. And it's like, so you did all this for clout. Like, no one cares about your child got an F on his test. No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares. All you are doing is setting your child up to be bullied at school. Like, yo, you're the kid who got his thing, bro. Oh, did you see your face? That's you. Like that's all you've done. There was nothing constructive in the parenting infrastructure here, in the bylaws of being a parent. There was nothing constructive that happened here. This is nothing but just embarrassing your kid. Like that's nothing. That's nothing. That's just stupid. But that aside,
I mean, we all stopped talking about the fact that Danielle Bregoli is a white, maybe Italian, white girl who knowingly tried to use Black culture to make herself famous, and she became more famous than a lot of other like rappers and, you know, people of the state such
without even having a lick of the talent.
Exactly.
But here's the thing though, she's actually out here doing Grand Theft Auto. She's actually out here ripping and running, but no one's calling her a thug. No one calling her
entire
ratchet.
Episode of Dr. Phil is about her doing crimes, and she didn't face any jail time or anything like that. And they were just kind of like, yeah, she definitely changed, even though like she raps about shit that's, you know, like she raps about shit that's related to that. She parties and like, you know, films herself doing all that stuff, and they're just like, nah, it's cool. She's cool now.
But here's the thing: they said that staffers. She says she's accusing staffers at the facility of forcing her to sit straight for 3 days without being allowed to sleep and using physical restraint on other teenagers. I'm like, I don't know about you, but sitting still for 3 days straight, like, you understand that's 3 days, right?
Right. That's
like
ridiculous.
Like you say, sit still. Like, you had to eat within 3 days. Otherwise, y'all are dying. Y'all are going to be physically ill to a point to where they're going to have to call the hospital.
And that's probably not the only facility that does something like that. I'm pretty sure there are like several facilities that
Yeah,
work
but
that
three
way that
days?
are like, yeah,
That's a tough like you're literally this I hate to use the word literally here, but you are literally famous for being a liar. That's what you're famous for. Because remember, she also threatened to sue Walmart for putting her catchphrase on t-shirts.
yeah. Even though she did she like have that copyrighted at the time? Like that doesn't. Anyways, yeah. We make these people viral, we make them famous, and then unfortunately, her being a young woman, she got sexualized because she wasn't considered to be a conventionally unattractive person, and uh, uh, she was all about like her Dr. Phil episode is about her twerking, which is like a very sexual thing, and nobody was like, okay, but what about the people who are like sitting here trying to like do stuff with her and whatnot, like
That we should talk about that because you also got to remember, right? She was number 77 on the Billboard Hot 100 when she released that first song, which to this day she is the youngest female rap artist to debut on a musical chart.
Mm-hmm.
And we allowed that. We as a society have allowed that to happen. That's an L. That's a capital L.
I mean, shit. Remember when Drake was only Aubrey Graham from Degrassi. He was old young Jimmy from Degrassi, right? And then So Far Gone came out, and Best I Ever Had became like a pop sensation, right? That was like the result of, hey, I've seen this dude like forever. Oh my god, he makes music. I'm gonna check that out. And then he became one of the most famous artists ever. And she was riding that same like kind of momentum of like, everybody knows me from this internet video, so I'm gonna release a song, and people are going to watch the video for that song because they see my video about me, doing whatever on Dr. Phil. So only because the song was not that great that she's not like one of the most famous artists ever.
All right, so here's the next question I got for you. Right, you ready? Ready?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think our OnlyFans made?
Over $1 million apparently.
Okay. Do you know how fast it took to earn that $1 million?
I would say not 24, like 18 hours
6.
or less. 6. Okay.
In the first 6 hours, it was $1 million in revenue, 757,000 from subscriptions, and apparently over 260,000 from message payments.
Do you know what time the account was made?
Nope.
Like
I don't have that information.
Yeah, because like if it was made like in the middle of the day or at night or something, yeah, okay, 6 hours makes sense.
And I'm just like, that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But look, all I'm saying is we live in some interesting times.
People have obsessions with like the weirdest things and the weirdest celebrities. Like to this day, I don't understand why everyone is so obsessed with Alexandra Daddario. Like, don't get me wrong, she's an attractive actress and she's good in the stuff that she's in, but she's not even like the most famous actress ever or anything like that. She's just like,
all right, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you know how much she's charging people per month?
For the OnlyFans. I think it was like $23.
$24 a month.
Yeah.
People just want to get robbed, I see.
Well, so if you're making an OnlyFans, if you're someone who is already well known, like some sort of celebrity, or like you have a YouTube following, whatever,
you're using that as a gateway to level up the exclusivity to you because you feel as though you are someone of high value, and people
so you can get away with having that high of a price.
But $24 the level of that I'd rather someone break into my house and just rob me. At that point, $24. That's just El Terrible. But this is what these folks be doing out here.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can green eggs and have it, bro. I want no part.
Yeah, a lot of like celebrities are the like, top paid OnlyFans own- artists, workers, whatever. They usually charge around like 20 to like $23 or whatever. Like even the most like overhyped ones, like Ash Cash and like Britannia from Rock of Love and shit like that, they all charge like somewhere around like between 20 and like $25 for their monthly shit because people are still paying.
Look, like I said, it's all about supply and demand. And if you can clearly, if your supply is apparently meeting the demand of $24, $25, $30 a month, I just think all those people are crazy. But hey, you make your money how you got to make your money. But I don't know, man. People are weird. People are just weird, bro.
It's not surprising to me because because she's probably not even like the top earner on OnlyFans even this month. Like
I'm sure they're not. I don't know too much about the OnlyFans infrastructure, but I've seen people out here who are like always putting stuff like top 1% of OnlyFans on like their Twitter bio when they get retweeted. And then it's just like, yeah, I was able to do da 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 da. And then like some people are buying cars with their OnlyFans money. And I'm just like, clearly it is a lucrative business. And it's definitely safer than, being a streetwalker. It's definitely, empowering yourself. That's perfectly fine. I'm all cool with that. Don't have to put yourself in danger. I just don't see a reason to be paying $24 for something I gotta look at through a screen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it.
Look, man, that's because you're saying this with your non-horny mindset right now. The people who are doing these things are controlled by the horny, as I like to call it.
I will never want to lead that life. I will tell you that right now.
Some people, can't control it, man. Can't control it.
Because, look, I understand that people can't control that, right? Like, I understand that. I understand people can't control things. But, like, you want to talk about another thing that we can't control? Why is this movie Kung Fu being made? Like, I don't know what's going on there. But it's not even a movie. It's a CW show. And, like, the thing is, when I saw the trailer, it looks interesting. And it also looks like the fights are going to be good. But it's also the CW. So I have this thing in the back of my head that knows what the CW is known for. I'm like, there's no way it's going to be good. No way. No way.
Speaking of Stop Asian Hate, this television show just called Kung Fu is about, I think maybe she's like college age, maybe a little bit older, but a woman who has been taking some sort of like martial arts class. So she's like, a trained martial artist. She comes up on like a bank robbery or like someone getting their purse snatched, something like that, and she like beats the shit out of the actual robbers. And after doing that, she decides that she's going to quit her law degree in order to pursue crime fighting using her kung fu, not in like some sort of costume or anything like that to hide her identity, by the way. According to this trailer, she's just out there in plain clothes beating the shit out of people. So I don't know what this is supposed to promote, but it's so weird.
By the way, it premiered tonight, so I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight after the podcast, and I will let you guys know next week what I thought.
Yeah, it seems like it'll last like one season, be pretty good, and then they're gonna kind of like be like, oh shit, what did we do, and then get rid of it.
And apparently they said the ratings were strong. Very
it's probably
strong.
Because the fight scenes. I think it's because of the fight scenes.
And it's not really like, I don't know, like we've seen fight scenes in CW shows before, and even when it's like superheroes like Supergirl or The Flash, 9 times out of 10 they're kind of whack. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, we got Deathstroke on this episode, and the fight's whack. Like this seems like it's gonna have like actually some solid choreography, but it just like, did it not just come out of nowhere? Like, was there like any sort of lead up to, like, I felt like there was a trailer on Tuesday and the show was here on Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear about this until today. Like I literally was just like browsing a list of like television shows and it was like, hey, yeah, Kung Fu. You want to watch that today? And I'm like, what is this?
And it's like, I've never really seen anything about that.
I mean, it's also like the show Rebel that's trending on Twitter that has Katie Siegel in it. Like, it's literally like, what is this? Where did this come from?
But
And why is this trending right now?
But like Cobra Kai is like, a much more grounded and more realistic and gritty version and like more serious tone of Karate Kid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I Kung Fu, if I could make it akin to anything, I would say it's the Cobra Kai of a movie that's in a similar vein as Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior.
Maybe Cobra Kai is the reason why it's gaining some traction. Because, I mean, even though the first two seasons of Cobra Kai came out on YouTube, YouTube Red, and people didn't pay attention because they were like, YouTube Red, what is that? Gets on Netflix. People are like, oh, this, I remember Karate Kid. They watch it and they're like, oh, this is really good. Season 3 gets, greenlit. Boom. It's out super soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's still like a momentum that's being written for Cobra Kai and people liking a show with that kind of style. This show is doing really well to like ride that momentum from Cobra Kai on like a martial arts television show. And so people are like, "Oh, this is going to be like Cobra Kai. The fight scenes are going to be sick." I don't really care too much about the story. It's just going to be like, "Hey, we're fighting each other because they're bank robbers. Bank robbers are bad. Beat up the bank robbers." And then that'll be that. And maybe the show will have a solid enough story later on that makes it better, but maybe not.
Either way, I will let you know next week what I think about the episode this week. And if we record the podcast on Thursday, then I will watch the second episode because apparently it's 8 Eastern.
It also doesn't seem like a good look because it seems like this show is going to like perpetuate a lot of like Asian stereotypes.
Well,
And
you got to remember, this is the CW. The CW is all about stereotypes. They love that. They eat that shit up over there.
That's not good. But like at a time where people are like, hey, maybe we shouldn't like just believe all the stereotypes about let's not believe all the stereotypes about Asian people that we see and hear, etc. They are people. And then you have this show that's like taking all those stereotypes and turning it into like a television show of like, yeah, Asian people know kung fu and then they're gonna fight crime. It's like, what?
Or the joke that they had in the trailer is like, guys, I don't think I want to go to law school anymore, and the whole family was like,
yeah,
oh, what a jokester. Because this wanted to be I want to find my own path type of storyline, which is cool and all, but it just feels like they know about all the stereotypes, and I don't know, maybe they're just taking the piss out of it. Who knows? Like, who am I to say? Because I haven't watched.
I think the only way around that was that like they're having like a predominantly Asian cast to be like, hey, Asian representation, guys, this is what you wanted, right? But it's like it seems like it's gonna be one of those things where it's like we're doing it bad because we're just perpetuating stereotypes instead of
See, you say that, but you got to remember, there's a Walker Texas Ranger reboot that's coming.
Yeah, it's got not Jared Padalecki. Jensen Ackles is going to be Walker Texas Ranger. So yeah, Dean from Supernatural is going to be Walker Texas Ranger. I don't know if it started or not, but I haven't watched it, and we don't need it. But whatever, it'll be something. Wasn't that show also like pretty on the line as far as like some stereotypical misrepresentations of certain groups of people? Like like every episode had like a gang, and the gang was like predominantly black people and stuff like that.
Here's the thing, I do not remember because I did not watch it, because I know it came out in January and I was like, Walker? Nah, I'm good, and I left it at that. But I do know it was the CW. That's the first thing I know right there. The CW was trash Ola when it comes to them putting out new material. And like every time something's on there, even if it looks interesting, I always have to have the skeptical look of, I don't know, man. It's the CW. And then more often than not, we find out that I'm right. Now, I know a lot of people are actually interested in they're liking The Flash. I think I've seen like maybe the first 2 seasons of The Flash, but like it's also The Flash. So like, yeah, I got really bored real quick. And Arrow never stuck on me. Arrow never stuck. And
Yeah, I didn't get like super deep into all of that. It all started around the same time Smallville was like ending. So once I realized that Arrow was not the same Arrow from Smallville, I was like, I kind of don't care.
And then you had the Crisis on Infinite Earths like week-long special, and boy,
That was kind of cool though.
No, it wasn't.
No, so they had nods. They did what they could. It's a television show.
No, I know
But they had
they did what they could. But what I'm just saying is they shouldn't have at all.
They had nods to a lot of like cool television stuff, like the girl from Birds of Prey played, I think, Catwoman or someone else in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Brandon Routh showed up, and there's speculation that he's actually the same Superman that he was in Superman Returns. But Superman Returns was a sequel to the old Christopher Reeve Superman movies. So like
fan service and references does not a good plot make.
Well, sure, but like they did what they could with the television show, and they made
that's
it
fine.
Cool
but
enough.
All I'm saying, they're cool enough. You know what? We're just gonna agree to disagree on that. Just gonna move on.
Look, man, you're expecting like a super spectacular thing from a CW show. I am not.
I'm expecting something at least decent, but they just kept dropping the fucking ball. But whatever.
CW show. See, they gave us several shows
I'm
before that
about Kung Fu. That's my point.
They gave us several shows before that to really set the bar of like, this is what you're gonna get. So when I heard Crisis on Infinite Earths, I was like, okay, this is probably gonna be trash. And it was a little bit above that, and I was like, okay, that's impressive enough for me to say, that's cool that you guys tried to do a little bit better.
Man, stop rewarding the mediocrity. Man, that's all it was. Mediocre.
I didn't say it was good. I just said that, like, the fact that they had the fan service there was good. That's all. The rest of it is like whatever. If you like that shit, cool. That's good on you, but I don't.
All right. I just want to make sure that we were 100% clear.
Superman and Lois though. Superman and Lois though is actually pretty decent. So I'll give that my praise.
You'll give that your praise. But I know what you're not going to give your praise.
Oh.
So did y'all hear about a pedophile who was grooming their victim with cryptocurrency? And now before you say anything, guys, when we say cryptocurrency, it gets weird. Because usually when you hear cryptocurrency, you think of all your stupid insert noun coin here things like your Dogecoin, your Bitcoin, etc., so on and so forth. However, when it comes to UK England over here, we got somebody named Jay Creed trying to destroy a computer hard drive when they were trying to arrest him. You may be saying, all right, well, what was he doing? Well, this pedophile was apparently grooming an 11-year-old boy through an online game and has been told by a judge that he may have to serve all 8 years of his jail sentence. Now, I don't know how y'all do things in the UK, but if someone's out here grooming children and they already have a existing sexual history with charges against sexual, discrepancies with other minors in the past, and this is their second time going into the big house for this, what is this lingo of may have to serve all 8 years? Like, I'm just trying to figure some things out. Like 8 years? That's it? 8. That's it. I feel like this is somebody that should be going away a long time.
They different over there, man. If that was the US, they would have just heard the title and then been like, nah, he's locked up in jail for 20 years. Maybe you can plead it down to 10, but nah. That man is getting the book thrown at him, and because good luck to him.
Because he's a 53-year-old dude who was apparently encouraging the boy to make videos of himself carrying out sexual activity on at least 20 occasions, according to the report. He also gave the boy cryptocurrency to play video games, the court was told. Now, it's weird because we're talking about an 11-year-old boy, and I don't know how 11-year-olds interact with cryptocurrency. I mean, I'm sure it's not really a hard thing to note, but like, is he just buying the games and they're giving him an account to sign into? Because that's not giving him cryptocurrency. But at the same time, you know how these journalists are. They don't always get it right. Like, for all we know, when they say cryptocurrency, this dude's just buying the kid V-Bucks on Fortnite or something.
Right.
So it's like, is it actually cryptocurrency, or is it just in-game currency in a video game of their choice? Like, you know, you got to ask these questions.
Oh God, it sounds gross, and it sounds like this 53-year-old wanted to be a sugar daddy to a minor.
No, no, you don't understand. In the court, Creed himself referred to himself as a sugar daddy. Quote. That's a quote. He did that. So you're right on the money. Nailed it.
Look. As long as it's legal, all of that sugar daddy shit, fine. You know, if that's what you're into, fine. But the moment you're like, hey, let me get an 11-year-old to be my sugar baby, no. No means no.
And it'll
First
always be no.
There happen to be a lot of pretty creepy fucking dudes who want to be like sugar daddies. Say what you will about that. If it's legal, I'm not gonna say anything. But once it gets to a point where he's targeting like minors, nah, get that guy off the streets. Like, what the fuck? He obviously has money to do something. Like, did they ever mention like how much money he has, or like what he does, or anything like that?
Nope.
No. Okay. So
all they make sure to know is Creed has been jailed in the past for sex offenses against children.
You know, and he was able to be in contact with children. All right, bro. Like, come on. After something like that happens, you got to be on a list, or they're like, you know, they're watching you. They're watching all of us right now, and we all know it. So you mean to tell me that nobody was just like hearing a little, you know, something on his phone or looking at his text messages with that, you know, viral marketing, and they're like, wait, hold on, this kid is 11, Fortnite money, sir. You're on a registry. Maybe you should stop. Like, he just gets a like notification on his phone. Sir, you're on a registry. Maybe you should stop. You should stop right now. Cease and desist, or else we're showing up to your house tomorrow.
All right, you heard him. Take him down. And then he's gone. Erased from history.
But who knows? Maybe the UK does things different over there.
Hey, look, you know, we're at the hour and 40-minute mark, so we're going to power through these last two couple of topics. Just bear with us, folks. The first one is, why is Don Cheadle in a basketball movie? Like, why are we doing Space Jam 2? Like,
oh my God.
They talk about, I know we've talked about Space Jam 2 coming forever, and it was kind of like a meme, and then we all thought it was a joke. And then the first trailer comes out. And for those of you who don't know, this is what the trailer basically unveils about the plot. Somehow, some way, an evil computer program that just wants to be known as the best in basketball, apparently, kidnaps LeBron James's son. And the reason why LeBron James's son is disgruntled is because LeBron James's son doesn't want to be a baller. He doesn't want to play basketball. He wants to be his own man. He wants to do things his own way, and basketball is not something that's on his agenda. So with that being said, LeBron James is like, come on, man, you're talented. You got the gift. You could be just as good as me, if not better. Basketball, basketball, basketball. And his son is like, you know, being a rebel. No, I don't want to play basketball. Basketball sucks. I don't want to play basketball. I want to be my own man. You never let me be my own man. You never let me do me. Yada, 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 yada. You know, that's going to be that type of movie. And then all of a sudden, he gets kidnapped by a alternate reality program who is going to have its physical avatar be Don Cheadle. And then Don Cheadle just says, that's right. We will play for your son's freedom. You have to beat me in basketball. Now go find yourself some teammates. And he just kicks him to Looney Tune World?
Yeah.
Kicks him to the Toon Squad. And it's like, all right, is this a direct sequel or is this like a reboot? Like, because
he acknowledges something in the trailer that kind of hints that he knows that the Looney Tunes world has the characters who beat the Monstars, and that's why LeBron is going there.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking to myself, like, why can't you just get the team back together? Because, I mean, there's already a good handful of characters that know how to play basketball now. Whether it's by hook or by crook, because, I mean, we saw Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam definitely shot the Monstars up, but, like, Yosemite Sam was in the first movie, but now it's like he doesn't know how to play basketball anymore because he literally takes out his guns and shoots the ball. And it's like, so what are we doing here? And it also seems like this one is going to be more grounded with they're actually going to have to play basketball. It's not going to be like we could like I was mentioning earlier, Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam dressing like the Men in Black and just like capping people in the face.
Mm-hmm. This is a more grounded movie because this is the Space Jam for the new generation, for the kids. And so, they don't want any flack of like someone putting out an angry tweet of like, they're not even playing basketball in this movie. What are you trying to sell me right now? But no, this movie seems like it's just going to be all about promoting some sort of it's all about like baiting people by like putting in characters that they've seen in other things. That's why they have cameos from like literally they have like Game of Thrones world. They have like pretty much every product that Warner Bros.
The
could get.
Iron Giant shows up. Kong and Godzilla show up. So I mean, like,
I think there was an actual joke about like, hey, I want the Iron Giant to be a part of my team. And later in the trailer,
they were trying to tell the joke of, oh, here goes LeBron trying to put together another super team so he can actually win. Like that was basically the joke there, and he was just picking like Superman, the Iron Giant, stuff like that would obviously be broken.
I mean, let's not forget that Don Cheadle named his squad the Goon Squad. So,
and it's just like, ugh, like I don't know, that got an audible groan out of me. The Goon Squad, really? That's what we're doing right now. Also, keep in mind we're playing for LeBron's son's freedom.
Yeah, the trailer doesn't really make it seem like his son is like on the line or anything like that. It's just kind of like, LeBron, now that I've got you here, let's play some basketball, bro. Like, I really want to just beat you in basketball. It's like, Don Cheadle, where's my son? Oh, don't worry about him. It's cool. I'll actually send you over to the Toon World and we'll be fine.
Man, I hate the world. I hate the phrasing of Toon World, so I can think about Yu-Gi-Oh! Now and that stupid card, bro.
Oh, that's probably also going to be in the movie. Like, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters are going to show up. Maximilian Pegasus is going to bust out Toon World. I'm in heaven. Oh, by the way, the Pepe Le Pew like scene that got the Pepe Le Pew scene that was supposed to be in the movie, the plot for it got leaked or whatever, and apparently it was supposed to be an educational scene where Pepe Le Pew was going to do his usual thing, I think with the same cat, and basically like try to like force his advances onto someone, and everyone in the room would stop him and be like, "No, bro, we don't do that here." And then they're going to teach him the proper etiquette and teach him how to be a decent skunk, a decent cartoon character, so that he, is respectable towards people. And that got cut out because, Pepe Le Pew is aggressive.
And the only thing I can really say about this is like, well, if he's being taught a lesson to not do that, then like I don't really see how this is a big deal. Or
with that kind of context, that I'd be fine with them putting that in the movie because it's showing that he's not accepted for his methods. But
I know why they didn't put it in, because you got to remember how social media is. You know there's going to be some people out there who are going to see that scene and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you." And people are going to do what they got to do. I mean, you already know there's some people out there like the Anita Sarkeesians of the world who are, the real grifters, the folks that even if there's a lesson that is taught there, they don't want to see it at all. Like, you just wrap it all the way up. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's fine.
And I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers, like, let's be honest, Warner Brothers is down bad because they had to release the Snyder Cut. They're down colossal right now. So they don't want to rock any boats with this movie.
Space Jam 2 is coming out because forever ago, someone was like, it's being made and LeBron James is going to be in it. That was probably false. And then they were like, that's a good idea.
They spoke it into existence.
Yeah, they're like, hey, mate, that'll make us money. And it will. It's coming out this year, and it will.
And it will make money. People go to theater to see it. People will. Don't sleep on it. It's going to be a thing. And I can't fathom how, but people will do it. But hey, y'all are going to do y'all regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to King Kong versus Godzilla. And I just want to start off by saying, if you care about spoilers and you don't want to spoil because you somehow haven't seen it yet, then I'll just say, yo, this has been the Clout.WAV podcast. You can tune out right now. If you want to talk about the movie, all right, welcome. Glad you're here. Yada, yada, yada. I've given you enough time to click the X button if you're someone who does care about spoilers. We'll see you next week. All right, spoiler time. So when I say we knew exactly how this movie was going to end, we knew this movie was going to end the same way from the jump. Because I have a tweet back in January where I said I'm pretty sure the plot of this movie is going to end up ending with Mecha Godzilla. And I said this for 3 different reasons. The first reason is Kong is supposed to be built up at this point. We're still in the process of putting him on the level of Godzilla. Because a lot of people, we still don't believe that Godzilla is anywhere near the lower level of Kong. Because, I mean, let's face it, Kong is still trying to break the narrative. Like, they're still trying to break the narrative in their story writing of he's just a simp chasing white women in New York. Even though he hasn't done that in a while, he's still being written to try to break this stigma. You got to keep that in mind. So in my head, I'm like, all right, there's no way they're just going to have him just go down like a coward. Like, he's not just going to get his ass whooped. And some people said, well, that means he'll probably beat Godzilla. It's like, no, ain't no way in hell Godzilla's losing. Not because Godzilla's just more powerful, but because Godzilla literally got his ass whooped in the last movie he was in. He got beat in Godzilla 2 King of Monsters. He got beat. He lost. There's no way they're going to have Godzilla lose 2 movies in a row. Now, obviously, he got his run back in King of Monsters and eventually ended up winning. But my point is, he's not going to have 2 losses on his record in 2 movies. They're just not going to do that. Although I do think it's weird that like they had to revitalize Godzilla by blowing up a nuke on top of his head in King of Monsters, and then they had to revitalize Kong's heart in this movie. And it's like, parallels. It's like symbolism or something.
Mm-hmm.
You're not so different, you and I.
You and I, we're not so different.
So, as for the movie, dude, take out your Bitcoin by September. Wow. It's crazy how YouTube lets people bot the system so easily, right? It's crazy. You heard it here first, folks. Anyways.
Yeah, so Godzilla literally like has like nuclear radiation coming out of his body. I was not going to accept that King Kong was somehow going to like beat him or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
we'll return the monkey with 2 straight jabs to the chest. Like, like in all seriousness, what was he going to do? Also, can I tell you that movie just tells me that in any supernatural sci-fi fantasy setting, I think Kong versus Godzilla has the dumbest humans ever. The dumbest. Because their plan was clearly Kong and Godzilla are both alpha titans. And they are attracted to each other. And they must kill each other. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. So they capture Kong and build this entire holodeck around him to suppress his location. So Kong thinks he's living in Fantasyland and Godzilla can't detect him. So they know Godzilla lives in the ocean. And their first thought is to put Kong on a boat.
He'll never know, man. He'll never know. What are you talking about? This is the super special, awesome, expensive boat. There's no way that Godzilla would. Oh, there he is. Shit. Maybe we shouldn't have strapped Kong to the boat outside. But hey, there he is.
And then like, oh man, that didn't work. And obviously Godzilla has home field advantage because they were literally just banging on his roof. No, Kong can't swim. He got bodied, almost drowned. They had to pull him back up by using a missile barrage that would eventually get Godzilla to release Kong so Kong could float back up to the surface so he could cough up all the water. And then, while Kong was incapacitated on the boat, the humans say, shut off all your engines. We need to simulate that we're dead and that we've given up. That way Godzilla will leave us all alone. And then Godzilla
Which made no sense.
And then Godzilla didn't even go up there to peek. He just said, all right. And he just kind of swam away.
So Godzilla was like, I ain't here for you anyway. So I'm out of here. All right. But like, that doesn't even make sense. Godzilla is not stupid. And Godzilla literally was using his senses. So he still would have been able to tell that Kong was alive. It made no sense.
Like I understand. It's just big dumb movie. They go fight each other. I get that. But I'm just talking about from a narrative perspective. Like, man, there was a lot of because the next shot after that was, so how do we get him to the MacGuffin this time? So they get a big, gigantic cargo net and have like 6 helicopters carry Kong, and I'm like, whatever.
They could have done that first.
I was like, if you could, like, if you had the technology to do this, you should have just did this from the start, because these things, helicopters are not going to go at. Because remember, they were going from the mainland United States to Antarctica. No, so they were going from Skull Island to Antarctica.
Mm-hmm. And also, evil Elon Musk sent his daughter to just like go with them and evaluate them. And also, like, his plan was, hey, scientist man, tell me about this, about how I can figure out the secrets of the Titans. And scientist man goes, well, we do have this this portal here that may, I don't know, discombobulate you if you go through it, but hey, it'll take you to the Hollow Earth, or you'll find the land of the Titans. But nobody's gone through it or whatever. So, and then he's like, no, wait. We have an aircraft that could go through this and everything could be fine. We've not tested this, but we can try it, because I want you to do that, because I need this power source for my mecha Godzilla that I'm building.
He doesn't say that. He just says, so we can save the world. That's all he says. And I was
just
his
plan was mecha Godzilla.
And I was just
it's not full power.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is weird. And like, we're not even going to talk about the B plot. I don't care about conspiracy podcast man and the 2 kids.
That was all trash.
I don't care.
That was all trash and boring.
That was a waste of about 40 minutes of screen time. But we're not going to talk about them. So then it gets to the part where you find out that Mechagodzilla is supposed to be a Jaeger from Pacific Rim, because you're supposed to like jack in, like get in the robots, Shinji. Like, you're supposed to get in there, jack in, and use your brain waves in order to control Mechagodzilla remotely from a remote location. But then
is Ghidorah's head, which didn't make sense, because Ghidorah, who's dead, somehow used its brainwaves to control the man.
Here's the thing. In King of Monsters, they set up the fact that Ghidorah can always regenerate, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And everyone just assumed that it worked on the same rumors as the Hydra, right? Like, if you cut off the main head, then it just dies. But no, it was basically like kind of like Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 11, where you decapitate him, but he's still alive.
That's stupid.
So it's like, he's still alive and he still has brainwaves. So when he hooked him up to the Jaeger, Ghidorah's brainwaves started controlling the human and killed the human. So now decapitated Ghidorah is sitting in a lab and is controlling the Mechagodzilla remotely.
Yeah, but like, also they did test runs, and this only was allowed to happen because they needed 100% full power from Mechagodzilla, which ultimately, once you see the fight, they didn't need it. They didn't need that, like, at all. But if they were just like, yeah, to kill Godzilla, no, they didn't need 100%. They needed 50.
Because here's the other thing that was like mad stupid. But here's the thing, though, that was tired Godzilla, because Godzilla literally just ran the Royal Rumble fade with Kong. But my main point is, so at first I thought Hollow Earth was a portal. Like, you go down to the center of the Earth and it's like electromagnetic field or some weird portal that transports you to their world. I was like, okay. But apparently that's not the case, because Godzilla just looks down in Tokyo and blasts a hole to the roof of Hollow Earth, and they just climb through it. So I'm thinking to myself, so it's not a different world. So the center of our Earth has a sun in it, and I'm like, what? I understand. Once again, big dumb movie. Monsters punch each other. I'm thinking too much. But it's just like...
See, what you don't understand is that they didn't actually go to the center of the Earth. They went through a portal, right? This portal took them to a different side of the Earth. Godzilla, with his amazing kaiju powers, he could see that side of the earth and just nuclear blast his way to that side of the earth and then jump in there. But he didn't jump. Oh, no, he didn't jump in there. He just, was like, yo,
No,
I'm
but here's
here.
the thing. Godzilla blew the hole, looked down there, and Kong just started climbing. He just climbed
Right.
up there.
But he's like, I'm coming up there to you, buddy. It's like, but you got home field advantage. Like, what are you even doing?
And then, like, there's the whole giant ape civilization that apparently, like, had giant tools, working doors, and could control electromagnetic nuclear pulses. And I'm like, electromagnetic and nuclear technology? Like, what are we doing? And then he got a nuclear powered axe, and the axe was like a key, but then the key could, like, charge up and body people. So then, like, honestly, the axe looked like it was made out of one of Godzilla's spinal fins. And I'm like, what are we doing? And then Kong gets his ass whooped again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, Kong basically dies. I just want y'all to know that.
Yeah.
Because Kong...
But they restarted his heart, man.
Yeah.
He was okay.
Yeah, they had to get him with the... clear.
Also, the like scientist dude who was like, yeah, this might, like, you guys need to get out of the way. This might kill me. That sort of thing. Like, he gave that speech to them, and all he had to do was run away, which he did, and he was fine. So
I think he got hit by a rock. I think that was it.
Yeah, he got hit by a rock. like good job, guy.
Also, there's a whole thing. There's a whole other, like, subplot where you find out that there's, like, a deaf girl who communicates in sign language, and it's a very specific dialect of sign language. Yeah, I know dialect, sign language, but it's a very specific form of sign language. And apparently Kong knows that level of sign language just innately. So apparently the girl can communicate with Kong, and Kong trusts the little girl.
Yeah, because the girl and her people apparently lived on Skull Island with Kong. And so I guess, like, her people were able to communicate with him, but all of them but her died somehow off screen before this movie.
And I'm just like, bro, I don't...
Apparently they died from a storm, by the way, which... Sure.
I don't know. It's really weird because then you find out that the evil corporation there does the damn... The evil corporation decides they're going to jump out and do the whole... Yeah, that's right. It was a tournament this entire time. Because, like, they literally... Like, there's a whole thing at the beginning of the movie where they're showing that, like, the company... had them in brackets on which monster would be the king of the monsters. And then, like, grand finals was supposed to be Kong versus Godzilla. I'm like, what? I don't know. Like, big blockbuster movies, like, when you watch them, like, I know they're meant to turn your brain off, but, like, I can't turn my brain off. So I'd be thinking, and I'd just be getting mad. That's why I hate Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2. I hate those movies. If you guys want me to tell you why I hate those movies, we could save that for another fucking podcast. But those two movies piss me off to a level that you guys can't fathom. You can't. Those two movies give me high blood pressure alone. I can't do it.
But hey, man, there's another one coming, so prepare.
Yeah, it's turning into a trilogy. Like, it's so damn dumb. But anyways, we've been here for 2 hours. I think it's about time for us to wrap it up. So, Subtle Fraudulence, go ahead, let the people know.
Real quick, Paul Pierce got fired from ESPN for partying at his house.
Mm-hmm.
Turning up at his house and filming it. They said specifically because he filmed it that's the reason why they fired him, which, so y'all just thought he didn't do those things? Whatever. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Clout.WAV podcast, part of the Clout.exe suite of products. I am the man, the myth, the fraudulent one, known as Subtle Fraudulence, here to tell you the internet was a fucking mistake. What's coming out, right? I'm gonna premiere a video on Friday, tomorrow. Besides that, everything else, up in the air. Probably stream on Sunday. Most likely gonna stream again on Monday. Other videos coming soon, other series coming soon. Everything is a little up in the air for me right now. But what about you?
Man, boy, we're getting some more Apex videos coming soon. And by coming soon, I mean probably on Friday. Oh, no, not Friday. If it's either gonna be Saturday or Monday, it depends on how the Sony Vegas wants, how many times Sony Vegas wants to crash here. Yeah, you guys know how that is. We're also getting a Blitz 2000 video. That's right, NFL Blitz. So if you guys like arcade games, make sure that you stay tuned for that. I'll probably be dropping that on Monday or Wednesday. So yeah, it's gonna be at least every other day next week. Podcast same time next week. And yeah, I will see you guys then. Y'all take care now.